Before the truth comes the betrayal. Before betrayal. Stories you will never forget.
The laughter was deafening, bouncing off the marble walls of the restaurant, echoing beneath the soft hum of jazz and clinking glasses. I smiled, though it didn't reach my eyes. My husband, Daniel, sat across from me, one arm casually draped over the back of his chair. His face was calm, but there was something behind his eyes, something unreadable that made my stomach twist. My best friend, Lisa, leaned closer to me, her wine glass in hand, cheeks flushed with amusement. "Come on, Mia," she giggled. "Tell them about Daniel's famous lasagna disaster." I hesitated, glancing at him, waiting for his silent permission. But he just smiled faintly, almost too faintly. Gave in. "He tried to make dinner last week," I said, my voice light. "He forgot to boil the pasta. We had crunchy lasagna." Everyone laughed. Everyone except him. He simply watched me, eyes unwavering, expression unreadable. Then he said it. Only. Flatly. Like he was stating the weather. "Yeah, at least I didn't have to pretend to enjoy it the way you pretended to enjoy your weekend in Chicago." The laughter died instantly. My chest froze mid-breath. Lisa's smile vanished. The others looked at one another awkwardly, fidgeting with napkins and glasses. I could hear the waiter refilling someone's water across the room. Every sound seemed magnified. I swallowed hard. "What's that supposed to mean?" asked, my voice brittle. He leaned forward, elbows on the table, voice low but steady. "You know exactly what it means." The silence that followed was heavier than anything I'd ever felt. Later that night, after the dinner ended in shambles, I drove home in stunned silence. The rain had started to fall, soft at first, then steady, drumming against the windshield like a heartbeat out of rhythm. My hands trembled on the steering wheel. When I walked into the house, Daniel was already there. He stood by the window, hands in his pockets, staring out into the storm. The light from the street lamps cast him in fractured gold and shadow. "Why would you say that?" I asked quietly. He didn't turn around. "Because I'm tired of pretending, Mia." I felt the air drain from the room. "Pretending what?" He finally turned to face me. His expression was calm, too calm. "That I don't know about you and Eric." Eric. The name hit me like a physical blow. I opened my mouth to speak, but nothing came out. He stepped closer. "Don't lie. Not tonight." I don't." But my voice faltered under the weight of his gaze. He exhaled slowly. "I saw the messages. Photos. You forgot to delete them from your iCloud." My knees went weak. I gripped the back of the chair to steady myself. The room seemed to tilt slightly, reality folding in on itself. He continued, his voice barely above a whisper. "Chicago, right? That conference you couldn't miss. You said it was work." He swallowed, his jaw tightening. "Eric isn't from your company. He's not your colleague. He's your boss." The truth hung there, naked and sharp. I wanted to deny it, to scramble for a lie that could undo what he knew, but all I could feel was the crushing weight of shame. "I never meant for it to happen," I said finally, my voice cracking. "It was just, things felt wrong between us. You were distant. I felt invisible." His laugh was soft and bitter. "So you decided to fix that by sleeping with someone else?" Tears burned at my eyes. "It wasn't like that. It wasn't." He cut me off. "Stop." He took a step closer, eyes glistening. "I begged you for months to talk to me. You kept saying you were fine. You said you just needed space. I thought maybe you were depressed. I tried to give you that space." Covered my face, sobbing. "I didn't plan it, Daniel. I swear." He stared at me, silent for a long moment. Then, in a voice so calm it terrified me, he said, "You were never planning to tell me, were you?" I dropped my hands. "I didn't know how." "That's the thing," he said softly. "You didn't want to." We sat in the kitchen until dawn, the rain long gone, leaving only silence and the faint smell of coffee neither of us drank. My eyes were swollen from crying. His were dry, hollow. "I didn't love him," I whispered. "I don't care," he said simply. Something about the way he said it, the quiet, unflinching truth of it, shattered me more than anger ever could. He continued, voice flat. "Do you know what it feels like to watch someone you love slowly pull away from you, while you keep convincing yourself they just need time? To believe every excuse, every lie, because the alternative would destroy you." "I didn't mean to hurt you," I whispered. He let out a breath. "You did." There was a long pause before he spoke again. "Do you remember when we used to joke about how couples at dinner parties always looked fake? Like they were acting out some script?" I nodded weakly. "That's what we were tonight," he said. "Except I was the only one who didn't know my lines." My throat tightened. "Daniel, please." He stood. "You humiliated me tonight, Mia. Not because of the jokes. Because I realized everyone else probably knew before I did." Froze. "What are you talking about?" "Eric's wife called me last week," he said. "She found out months ago." I felt the blood drain from my face. "She what?" "She said she thought I deserved to know too. I told her she was wrong. I told her I didn't believe her." His voice broke for the first time. "I defended you." I covered my mouth as a sob escaped. He turned away, his shoulders shaking slightly. When he finally spoke again, his voice was hoarse. "Do you know the worst part? I wasn't even angry at first. I just wanted to understand what I did wrong." "You didn't do anything wrong," I said desperately. "It was me. It was my fault." He nodded slowly. "Yeah, it was." Days turned into weeks, the silence between us growing wider, heavier. We slept in the same house but lived in different worlds. He moved his things into the guest room. He stopped touching his wedding ring. One night, I found him sitting on the porch, staring at the dark sky. I sat beside him, unsure if I had the right. "Do you hate me?" I asked quietly. He was silent for a long time. Then he said, "No, I wish I did. Hate would make it easier." My chest ached. "What happens now?" He turned his head, meeting my gaze. "I don't know." There was no anger left in his voice. Just exhaustion. He stood, walked to the door and paused. "You should tell Lisa." He frowned. "Why?" He looked at me one last time. "Because she already knew. Eric told her." The door closed softly behind him. That night, I sat alone in the living room, the echo of his words circling my mind. I thought of every conversation I'd had with Lisa, the subtle questions, the way she'd once said, "Sometimes you just have to do what makes you feel alive." It all made sense now. My betrayal hadn't just broken my marriage. It had unraveled the very fabric of my life, thread by thread. I picked up my phone and opened our last group photo, the one from that dinner before everything fell apart. Daniel's arm was still behind my chair, a faint smile on his face. His eyes distant but composed. Lisa was laughing beside me. I was smiling too, my eyes bright with the illusion of control. I stared at it for a long time before setting the phone down. The sound of the clock ticking filled the silence. It struck me then. His one sentence at that dinner hadn't just ended the laughter. It had ended everything. And somehow, it was the quiet truth beneath his calm voice that would haunt me forever.